Hello, everyone. My name is Tara. I live right here in Edmonton, and I'm the same girl that recited the poetry in Calgary at the last rally, Enough is Enough. Now, I just saw a post by one of my acquaintances uh, in another group stating that Edmonton needed a speaker for the CPPD or CPP rally, Enough is Enough. Now, I am a recipient of CPPD, and I can tell you that I've looked into this up and down and sideways for the last couple of years since the APP was announced. And I can tell you right now that if you have if you receive CPPD, nowhere in the plans that I've seen so far have I seen uh, a part that actually includes people with disabilities that are on CPPD in regards to the fact that I've read and seen what is present. And as we all know, when Quebec decided to pull away from the CPP, that was done at a time when CPP was just barely on the board and barely a footnote within the Canadian Constitution and Charter of Rights. I think it's under that. Anyway, um, when that was done, Quebec decided to come up with their own, which is the QPP. Now, this is like way over 40 years ago. And the only reason why this works is because even though you cannot get CPPD or CPP in Quebec, it's not available and it's not going to be a choice. It's not a choice in Quebec. The only way you can get CPP or CPPD is if you live outside of Quebec. And I've asked MPs and a lot of MLAs on such things, and they all are iterating what I have read into. And it doesn't take a genius to read between the lines when it comes to APP and the audacity of this government. And what I have been told is that if Alberta decides to pull away, not only is it 40 years later, but there may not be enough money for every senior alive who might be on CPP or those that are on CPPD. As a matter of fact, there will be no money for us because there's no backdrop or safeguards to support those people or that population if you have a disability. Now, on the other side of it is that if APP becomes a reality, every last one of you that happens to have CPP, and this is iterated by the MPs, as in members of parliament at the federal level, that if APP goes through, not only will you be cut off from your CPP, but anyone with CPP and paying into it currently will not be eligible unless they leave Alberta. What you are eligible for is, well, APP. And those that are on CPPD, well, guess what? You will not get it. It will not be available. Even though that it is something that you paid for and worked hard for during the years that you worked. That said, I wish you luck. Because I'm one of the ones that this APP is literally going to serious hurt on every level possible that is human. And if you want to sit there and say age and everything has to do with it, well, the only difference between CPP and CPPD is the fact that one, you have to be 65 in order to get, and that's your CPP. The other one is CPPD. In order to get that, you have to have, yes, worked for a long time and paid into it, but you also have had to have had a disability in order to receive it before the age of 65. That is a thing that you can have before the age of 65 as long as you have a disability and that you actually paid into it. Because CPP and CPPD run off the same banner. They're just two opposite sides of the same coin. One is for disability, which you can have before the age of 65, and the other is for 65 and up. That said, if APP goes through, it's going to destroy a lot of lives, a lot of people, and it's a nightmare. There, when it first came out, I was so afraid, and I still am, but I'm not afraid to talk about it. Because the more I look into it, the more I read into it, the more I ask questions about it, the more concerned I am. Because that would mean if I lose my CPPD because of APP, that means that even though I do work part time, it's not enough to support me and my husband financially if he should fall ill or die. It's to support me and living on my own. And I depend on my husband financially because he's the main breadwinner of my home. But even what I make with my job and what he makes, it's still not enough to live on for two people. All I get is close to $900 every single month of my CPPD. That 800 or $900 is what allows us to eat, allows us to have a roof over our head, and to have a little bit of a buffer zone, if you will. If I lose my CPPD, not only will I be totally or just about totally financially dependent on my husband, but it would also destroy me emotionally. And I don't know if I could be that kind of person to be financially dependent on somebody. As a matter of fact, I know I wouldn't be able to. And I'm scared because that's the one thing that allows me and my husband to afford things, to do things, and to live. And it makes me feel like I am contributing, albeit it's not much, into my marriage financially. It allows me that independence both emotionally and on a more physical level. If I was to be dependent on my husband, I'd feel useless. And it would make me a burden, or at least make me feel like a burden. And that is not a pain that I wish on anyone, and it's not a pain that I wish to experience. This government is out to harm not just seniors or people paying into CPP. I swear they're out to hurt seniors and people with disabilities for no reason. And I feel powerless some days with all the crap that has gone on in the last couple of years. I am against APP. Enough is enough. And we need to stand in solidarity to say that this is wrong. How many lives are going to be destroyed because of APP?